familiar. We don't seek what's good for us. We seek what feels like home. Even if home was chaos, even if home was neglect, even if home was silence and walking on eggshells. To the body, what's familiar is safe, even if it hurts. That is why you keep choosing the same kind of person. That is why you stay too long in places that don't love you. That is why you end up in the same dynamics, over and over and over. But there's another layer. Beyond the psychology, there's something deeper. Soul contracts. Some relationships hold a mirror to your deepest wounds. They arrive not to destroy you, but to activate your remembering. Remembering what you deserve. Remembering that you're worthy of peace. Remembering the moment you decide to stop abandoning yourself. These souls are not always meant to stay. Some are brought in to shake you awake, then leave. Not because you failed, but because they succeeded. And when the lesson is complete, the loop loosens its grip. But only if the lesson is received. Only when you stop trying to reshape others into who they should be and begin choosing yourself as you are. Only then does the universe stop sending the same storyline with different actors. Because once you break the loop inside of you, life no longer needs to repeat it outside of you. Let's get really honest for a moment. You know that feeling in your gut when something familiar starts happening? Maybe it's getting butterflies around someone who feels intense, or that creeping sense of unease when you stop hearing from the person you care about, or the quiet sinking feeling when someone raises their voice, and suddenly you're 6 years old again. That moment, right there, is your pattern calling for attention. The first step to breaking a cycle isn't to run away from it, it's to notice it. Here's how you know a pattern is active. You feel irrationally emotional without understanding why you're playing both roles, rescuer and the rescued. You're choosing someone who feels like home, but not safe. You keep giving second chances to people who show you they don't deserve first ones. You're triggered by the same type of behavior again and again. The truth is this: you can't heal what you can't see. And the moment you see the loop, the moment you're willing to say, "Ah, here we are again, I know this place," something shifts, because now you're not trapped inside the story. You're watching it unfold, and that awareness, that's freedom starting to form. So what do you do in that exact moment when you recognize the pattern? You interrupt it, stop, breathe, and speak these words back to yourself. This feels familiar, but familiar doesn't mean right. This is an echo from the past, not a prophecy of my future. I am not here to repeat my wounds. I'm here to rewrite them. When you speak to yourself in this way, you step out of reaction and into response. Just like that, the loop weakens. You get to choose differently. You get to decide that this time, you won't chase, justify, or shrink. You won't people-please your way into belonging. You hold your truth instead. You take yourself where no one ever took you, to safety, to self-respect, to emotional sovereignty. And this is how a pattern begins to dissolve, not by force, but by becoming someone who no longer plays the old role. They say history repeats itself until you learn from it. I'd say it more simply. Cycles break when you choose yourself over your wound. You are not the loop, you are the threshold. Stay with me as this one speaks to that breathtaking moment when a soul finally steps beyond the loop, and what happens next on the frequency level as you rise. Here's what no one tells you about breaking a pattern. It rarely feels like fireworks. More often it feels like grief, not because you've lost something, but because you finally let go of the person you had to be to survive. You are shedding a version of yourself who once protected you, the one who accepted breadcrumbs, who tolerated emotional chaos because anything else felt too lonely, who believed that love meant fixing someone, proving yourself, or earning kindness through suffering. That part of you wasn't wrong. She was doing her best with what she knew. But now you're here, conscious, awake, watching. And the breaking of the pattern isn't just a single act. It's a rebirth. When you stop engaging in familiar chaos, 3 extraordinary things begin to happen. 1. Your frequency shifts. You stop living from your wound and start living from your worth. You become less reactive and more rooted. Threats that once pulled you under now feel like echoes in the distance. You're no longer chasing connections because you've become a lighthouse. Others feel it. The room reacts differently. Some people fall away. Others, people whose souls match your new frequency, begin to appear quietly, gently, like the next breath. 2. The universe stops repeating the lesson. That isn't a metaphor, it's energetic law. When you truly integrate a lesson, life doesn't need to test you on it anymore. Not because you're being rewarded, but because you've stopped unconsciously asking for the old story. The loop dissolves because there's nothing left inside you for it to stick to. What once hooked you emotionally now falls flat. What once felt intoxicating now feels unavailable to your spirit. You will surprise yourself. One day you'll look at an old pattern, an old person, an old trigger, and feel nothing but peace. That is not indifference, it's evolution. 3. You enter the frequency of choice before you reacted. You didn't know you had options. Now, you're stepping into the realm of choosing from power, not pain. You choose people who match your emotional availability. You choose environments that don't require you to shrink. You choose peace, even if it means walking alone for a little while. And that space you create, that quiet, that stillness, it becomes the womb of your new life. Because once you stop repeating the past, the future finally has room to arrive. And here's the most beautiful part. The moment you break one cycle, you send a ripple up your entire ancestral line. Every ancestor who lived with trauma, silence, fear, or suppression, they feel the shift. They rise with you. You're not just healing for yourself. You're healing for all who came before and all who will come after. This is your legacy, the day the loop ended. There's something I want you to really hear. You are not trapped. Not by your past, not by your wounds, not by who you used to be. The pattern wasn't your prison. It was the path, a sacred loop designed not to punish you, but to prepare you. Prepare you to see the truth, to feel your own resilience, to recognize your own power. And here's the truth you've earned by walking through that fire. You are not who you were. You are the version of yourself who stayed awake when others fell asleep. You are the one who heard the lesson, even when it hurt. You are the one who said, "This ends with me," and that changes everything. So tell me, what if the universe never stopped trying to love you? It just needed you to stop choosing pain. What if every loop was a circle in the labyrinth of your becoming? And this moment, the one you're in now, is the turning point. Because right now, in this breath, you have something you didn't have before. Choice. You can choose to no longer abandon yourself for love. You can choose peace over chaos. You can choose boundaries over breadcrumbs. You can choose a life that doesn't feel like a slow betrayal of your own soul. And the moment you do, even quietly, even trembling, something ancient in you nods and says, "Finally, we can move forward." So here's your reminder. You were never waiting for someone to save you. You were waiting for yourself. And today, you arrived. Your past is not a prophecy. Your pattern is not your destiny. Your pain is not your identity. You are the threshold. You are the flame. You are the one who ends the cycle and begins the story. So walk through the door. The key has always been in your hand. If this message finds you tonight, if you recognize yourself in these words, know this. You are the kind of soul who changes bloodlines. You are the kind of soul who breaks walls and builds bridges. You are the kind of soul who leaves legacies, and I see you. This has been Valkyrie. Subscribe and like. Thanks for stopping by. Until next time.